From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon here on Afternoons LA. The job numbers are released. We'll be looking at those non-farm payroll numbers released minutes ago. How many jobs were created in the month of November, and what happened to the salaries during that time? Also, did unemployment surge or did it come down? And what does it do to the Federal Reserve? Plus, DoorDash dashed. New concerns of DoorDash out of New York and new concerns as it falls in the latest earnings report minutes ago. Then the bond market surging across the board. Meantime, gas prices could go higher. Why? Because on Sunday, you and I will learn what will be happening with that OPEC Plus meeting of that consortium of oil-producing countries. Will they be cutting the production of gasoline? And the last time they did was 2 million barrels a day cut. How many are they going to cut this time? Well, the latest details across the board. Meantime, breaking news just minutes ago as the Supreme Court agrees to hear Joe Biden's student loan debt forgiveness battle in a Supreme Court oral argument this February. Big news across the board, and that is why you need to get these massive stimulus checks. 18 months of stimulus checks of $3,000 a month with 5 stimulus checks a month are now being paid to the viewership of this channel. These are huge stimulus checks. They're federal stimulus checks. Nearly $300,000 of federal stimulus checks passed in the month of March of 2022 this year. And viewers have been getting them ever since the month of March. Fast stimulus paying out nearly less than 2 days. You need that holiday stimulus. You need that Santa stimulus. You need these big sums of money. I'll show you how to get this stimulus in this recording. 18 months of stimulus checks. And yes, it's about $3,000 a month, 5 checks per month. And it's for you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, retirees, workers, unemployed, or employed with children, without children, and wearing a beautiful blue shirt. No, I don't qualify. The latest details heat up today's recording. We'll also be looking at what's going on with the markets right now as the markets are trying to digest those really shocking numbers on labor. It's a big show, your economy, your recession, your latest details on benefit raises, plus everything you need to know what's going on with this economy, and of course your fourth stimulus. The breaking news starts right now on Afternoons. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a big day as we go into a big week. Massive stimulus is available right today, and that massive stimulus checks have been obtained by viewers of the channel. I'm going to teach you over this 1-hour broadcast how to get massive stimulus checks. These aren't puny little $100 peons of checks. These are monster checks. And the viewership of this channel has been getting it since the month of March. They're in every U.S. state. They're for you. What are they? $300,000 of stimulus checks. Wow. Fast stimulus. These fast stimulus checks are paying out in less than in some cases, 2 days. Johnny got it in literally 48 hours. I'll show you how to get them in this recording. Stay over this 1-hour broadcast. And it's 18 months of monthly stimulus checks. It's MSC. It is law. It has been passed since the month of March. And you're not going to hear this anywhere else except here on LA, because I go into the research, I go in the analysis, I teach it all over this broadcast. These incredible checks are 18 months of stimulus checks. How much per month? About $3,000 of stimulus checks per month. How many stimulus checks per month? About 5 stimulus checks per month. And the breaking news of all that is coming up in a second. But first, let's start with the big data. The big data minutes ago is the job numbers were released, and a job growth actually was more than expected in the latest numbers released by Department of Labor this beautiful morning for the month of November. Of course, this is data from last month that was released minutes ago this morning. And what do those numbers show you? Good morning, and thank you for joining me on a big afternoon's broadcast, also for Holidays LA. Those jobs numbers showed that non-farm payroll job creations were an increase of 263,000 when the unemployment rate was 3.7. So let's look at what Wall Street is looking for what the number came in at, what the number means for you, and what does it mean compared to the prior month. So the number of jobs we created in this U.S. economy was 263,000 new jobs. This is down from the month of October, which was also revised this morning, down from the month of October, 284,000. So we're generating less jobs. We're creating less jobs. 284,000 2 months ago, 263,000 in the month of November. But yet this number was better than Wall Street expected. They expected us only to generate 200,000 new jobs, create just 200,000 new jobs in the month of November. We created 263,000 new jobs. What about the unemployment rate? This is the number that I'm looking for in this report. This is the number that's really important, folks. The unemployment rate was 3.7%, and that's exactly what Wall Street was looking for, 3.7. Now let's look at the unemployment rate, and more importantly, the situation on wages. Also, in the report released today, we learned that wages went up 0.6% compared to the prior month. So wage inflation is still with us. Wage inflation means wages are going up month to month. So they went up nearly 1% in 1 month, 0.6%. They are now up 5.1% year to date. And Wall Street was expecting the year to date number today to come in at 4.6% compared to November 2021. It came at 5.1%. So this is actually higher than expected. Higher wage inflation than expected. None of this is good for the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is going to look at this and say, inflation's going higher, faster, and more hotter than expected. Yesterday, we had the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index released, the PCE, which is like the COLA. That had a lot of data in there, and it showed a little bit of softening. It was going up month to month. It was going up year to year, year to date. But it showed it was not going up as much as it had gone in prior months. Not today, because when we look at wage inflation, it went up more than expected. Year to date, 4.6% was what they were expecting. It went up 5.1% year to date. Here's the analysis. Seema Shah, who's at Principal Asset Management, said today, we have 263,000 new jobs created, and the labor market is hot, 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 and it continues to be hot despite the pressure from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve sees that as well. That analysis is exactly correct. So where were these jobs? You know exactly what industry created all these jobs, because we've been talking for a while on this channel. They came from travel and leisure, added 88,000 new jobs in the latest jobs number released this morning. Other sectors adding a lot of jobs were healthcare, 45,000, and government, 42,000. Construction added 20,000, but where were the jobs lost? Yesterday on this channel, we featured the firings number. That was a really fascinating number. Remember that number yesterday? That was from Mr. Christmas. How can you forget? Mr. Christmas with his Christmas wishes of you're going to get fired. The firm of Challenger, Gray, and Christmas reported yesterday that we are seeing an increase of firings on a monthly basis up 127,000%, and year to date up 400%. So where are the firings likely coming from? Well, let's look at the data today. Retail got rid of 30,000 jobs in just 1 month in the latest numbers. Transportation and wholesale also got rid of 15,000 jobs in less than 1 month. Here's some more analysis by Fitch Ratings chief economist Brian Colton minutes ago. The Fed tightening monetary policy is forgetting to tell the labor market. Basically, the labor market is doing really well despite what the Federal Reserve is doing, but the job expansion will do nothing to ease the labor supply imbalance. Fascinating quote. I love that. What does that mean? It means that, one, you're going to get fired. Two, we're not creating new jobs for you to take if you're getting fired. And number three, if you have a job, the salary is going up. This is really fascinating. So if you have a job, you keep the job, the salary is going up. If you have a job, you may get fired because the firing's going up. And if you get fired and you try to look for a brand new job, there's less new jobs being created. Wow. Sound scary? It should sound scary. And that's why you need to get these incredible stimulus checks. Since the month of March, I've been getting viewers this channel these stimulus checks, and let's look at these incredible checks right now. First, let's understand how much they are. They are incredible. They're $300,000 of stimulus checks. They're fast stimulus checks, nearly 2 days for some viewers to get these huge amount of checks. And how many months of checks are these? These are 18 months of stimulus checks. 18 months of stimulus checks. How many checks per month? In those 18 months, you are getting on average about $3,000 a month, about 5 checks per month. Folks, this is massive stimulus. If you're new to Finding LALATE, let me tell you what you're watching. You're watching America's #1 channel for this news across the board. LALATE has been getting $50 million from Americans since it launched in 2020, and it's #1 on finding stimulus. Over this 1-hour broadcast, I'll show you how to learn to earn to get these incredible sums of money. This is not a channel to get $200 stimulus checks or $400 stimulus checks. This is to get tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus checks. And LALATE is #3 overall for all financial news. In February of this year, I had predicted that the U.S. economy would suffer a recession starting in January of 2023, which is now 30 days away, and that real hurt is going to hit very dramatically and that you need to get stimulus. As soon as I recorded that in February, which we now know is true because that hurt of that recession is 30 days away, viewers of this channel immediately said, "LA, find me some stimulus. Find me some stimulus." And I immediately found stimulus passed that day by Joseph Biden in the month of March. Now, when I recorded it then, I was the only person even recording it. Even though these are executive actions passed by Joseph Biden, they did not get any type of news coverage anywhere else. So you're not going to see this anywhere else, #1. This is totally different than prior stimulus packages of 2021, so I need you to focus on this. #3, this is the way it's done right now, and it's the way it's going to be done next year. So let's go over these incredible amounts of money right now. First, there are 3 categories of checks, but the biggest ones I want you to focus on are the federal stimulus checks, FSCs. Federal, what does that mean? There's 2 branches of government that are important in your livelihood. They are your local city, your county, and your state. And then there's those people in Washington, D.C., the federal government. The federal government, those people in Washington, D.C., have this amount of money. The people that are city, counties, and state have this amount of money. Many cities and counties and states have gone bankrupt or are about to go bankrupt and really just not doing well. Well, the federal government has fortunes. So these federal stimulus checks are lots and lots of money. It means that you apply for them from the federal government, #1. #2, they send you the checks. And #3, they have the checks and they've been paying viewers this channel ever since the month of March. Over this broadcast, I'm going to go over each of these checks so you learn what the checks are. I'm going to show you how to apply for the checks, where they are, so that you can have tens of thousands of dollars as well. Tens of thousands of dollars. Here's a brand new success story today, right today. You've heard about Lynn Glenn on this channel for over a year. What has she gotten? She has gotten 14 months of one stimulus check and 12 months of another stimulus check. Folks, 14 plus 12 is a lot of stimulus checks. That's 20. Don't put me on the spot. That's 26 stimulus checks. She has gotten 26 stimulus checks. What did she get? 14 months of rent and 12 months of 14 months of utilities and 12 months of rent. Well, today she reports that she helped her family member also get over 1 year of rent checks, utility checks as well. So Lynn has listened and learned from this channel, and she has helped a family member get over 12 other stimulus checks as well. These are big sums of money. And over this broadcast, we're going to go over all these incredible sums of money. Let's go back into the breaking news that's happening right today, and before we get into those incredible stimulus checks in just a second. The second breaking news story that we're looking at right now is the situation on DoorDash. So DoorDash, as you know, is a food delivery business, and it was hit really badly today when it reported corporate earnings, and those numbers were not particularly good. How bad were those numbers? And yesterday I explained to you that corporate earnings is the best indication of the recession and where this economy is going. The breaking news on DoorDash minutes ago is that the stock is down nearly 3% in pre-market trading after it was downgraded from sector perform to outperform to sector perform. and from RBC Capital Markets, and that the situation is uncomfortable with the current valuation. Basically, they think the stock is a little bit too overpriced for where it is. Asana, it came in with its corporate earnings today. That's a work management platform, and it delivered weaker than expected. Let's go into the other breaking news stories we're working on today as well. They are the bond market. The bond market is surging right today. And you've been taught on the channel that bonds go up when stocks go down. When stocks go up, bonds go down. So Treasury yield bonds are up dramatically right today based upon that jobs number. The yield on the 10-year Treasury bond has surged dramatically today. 3.64% is where it is, based upon reaction to that November jobs report. Here's the analysis, and I'll explain to you why this is happening. U.S. rates analyst at BMO, Ian Lengen, says overall this report, the jobs report, solidifies that the Federal Reserve will raise rates and that we may be in a restrictive policy for 2023 and possibly beyond. What a great, great quote that is. What does that mean? The jobs report showed way too much inflation, showed a better than stronger economy than expected. You had that wage inflation that was higher than expected. Salaries went up more than expected month to month, year to year. And the job creations were enough there for the Federal Reserve to come in. And based upon this wage inflation, the Federal Reserve is absolutely positively going to spike in those interest rates at the December FOMC meeting. And they're going to be raising those interest rates all next year. That means for you, debt levels will be far more expensive to carry. If you have any debt right now, you need to get rid of it because it's going to be a lot more expensive, because that's why the bond market is trading up the bonds, because they're saying, well, hey, these labor numbers are really good. They're too good. And the Federal Reserve is going to be unhappy how good they are. The Federal Reserve is going to really push hard with those interest rate spikes for a while. And based upon that, if the Federal Reserve is raising rates, the bond market goes up. Very simple, right? Rates up, rates up. That's what's happening with that front. The third story that we're dealing with right now is, of course, the situation happening over in OPEC Plus, gas prices, and then student loan debt forgiveness. I'll be going over to those breaking news stories in just a second. But now let's turn over to those incredible stimulus checks. The continuation continues right now as we turn over to these incredible stimulus checks that became law, starting with Joseph Biden in the month of March. In the month of March, Joseph Biden passed a series of executive actions, and those established the first stimulus checks. And we're going to go over those stimulus checks right now so that you can get them. Where did it start? It started with Joseph Biden in the month of March, and they are incredible. These incredible stimulus checks are federal stimulus checks, Santa stimulus checks. They're for the federal government, so they're in every U.S. state. You qualify. The first three checks passed by Joe Biden are about $100,000. Done by executive action in the month of March by Joseph Biden. My viewers have been getting them since March. They have the cash in their hands, and they're getting them every single month. And they're getting them in the month of December. They got them in the month of November. You qualify. Go get them right today. I'm going to show you how to get them in this broadcast. Stay with me over this 1 hour broadcast. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less annual income, go get it. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, go get them as well. Then came Congress. And Congress passed more checks, bringing us to checks E through K. Hundreds of checks for the Purple Power. And that's why the family of this channel, the viewers of this channel, the membership of this channel, is getting so well prepared for a recession, because they're getting tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus for themselves from this channel. Now, along the way, I found you other checks. They're all in the LALATE newsletter, delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And they are checks L and M, N and O, P and Q. And we're going to go over each of those incredible checks in just a second. What's important to understand is that we are 30 days away from the rude awakening. What does that mean? Does that mean Mitch is walking in wearing lobster shorts? Does that mean we're all going to a San Francisco hairstyle on a brand new field trip? No, it does not. Does the rude awakening mean that you wave at the check one last time and he doesn't wave back? Yeah, it does. What is the rude awakening? The rude awakening is Donut Guy starts to realize his donut is soggy. Come January, the US economy is going to go, and millions of Americans who did nothing, didn't well learn to earn, they're not you, they are not part of the purple power. They are going to realize whatever they were doing is not working, and it will be too late for them. It's not too late for you. So you're going under this video, you're becoming a member. You're staying over this broadcast as we go over all these incredible checks one at a time, and you're learning to earn, as Lynn Glenn has already gotten for herself, 26 checks, 26 stimulus checks, and a brand new tablet, or either a tablet or laptop. And now she's helped her family member get nearly 12 other stimulus checks as well. This happens all the time because when viewers learn how to do this, they teach other viewers. I love it. That's the true spirit of growing the Purple Power family. And let's go over how this works starting right now. Let's do the first 3 checks together right now. They are checks A, B, and C. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And this is the wonderful check that Spelly got. Congratulations, Spelly. Now, Spelly got other checks. We're going to get to those in a second. Kimberly Romano also got check B, and we're going to go over her success stories in just a second as well. How do you get this $12,000 stimulus check? You go under the video, become a member. Get that membership newsletter from me to you, Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts. Go down to where the membership newsletter says check A, click the link, and go right and apply. It's that easy, that quick, that sudden. You're not done there yet. You're going to go get check B. Check B is a beautiful $15,000 to $80,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. How do you get this? You go to the video, become a member, join the channel, and get that incredible newsletter. Go down to check B. It's so simple. It's so much money. Why would you not do this? And it costs a few dollars to become a member. Look what Frank Mancuso got. He got 18 months of stimulus checks, of multiple checks, 18 months of multiple stimulus checks per month. What is he getting every month for the next 18 months? Well, he's getting his mortgage every month. He's getting all his utilities. That's potentially 4 checks. Okay, so that's 5 checks now. And then he's getting his high-speed internet. That's 6 checks. 6 checks per month for 18 months. 6 times 18 checks. Let's just say it's 5 times 18. Folks, that's nearly 80 stimulus checks. What are you doing? Why are you even thinking about this? You need to become a member right today, because if you want 80 stimulus checks, you need to pounce right away. This has been launched since the month of March. And let's jump into Kimberly Romano's success story as well. Kimberly Romano's success story was last week. And what did she get? Well, she as a member got her HOA fees, check number 1. All her utilities, that's potentially 4 checks per month. That's now 5 checks total. Every month for 18 months because she became a member. That's huge. And that adds to up to about $35,000 approximately. Then on top of that, she got $4,000 of property tax. This is all from check B, bringing her $40,000. Then she got check A, which we just went over. That's $12,000. Folks, that's $50,000 right there. It was just that quickly. We have another view out of Florida. She got 18 months of stimulus checks, and the success story now you see, the trend line, the consistent narrative seems to always pan out the same way. Let's look at that graphic again. 18 months of stimulus checks. We have a total of $300,000 of stimulus checks to show you over this broadcast. But viewers on average are getting 18 months of stimulus checks, 5 checks a month, whether it's Frank Mancuso or Kimberly Romano, the viewer out of Florida, and about $3,000 of checks per month. These are a lot of stimulus checks. This is a lot of money, and you're going to need a lot of money with a recession, a big hurt that is less than 30 days away. Let's continue now into the next stimulus check. That next stimulus check is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. It's wonderful. And look at these incredible numbers. When you become a member, you go down the membership newsletter, and it tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. 12 different places in every place across the country to get these incredible assistance for monies. And I've been doing since 2020. Let's look at some of the numbers that you have gotten as part of the Purple Power. Do you want $30,000 of rent? Then join this channel, become a member right today. Do you want $15,000 for utilities? Well, become a member, join today and get check seat. That's what Mark's brother-in-law got. Here's Mark. Same brother-in-law is getting $250,000 over 10 years for SNAP. And here's Mark again. He, in combinations of checks, started at $32,000. Then I told Mark to go get more money. What did he get? He got a few more items, bringing him to $50,000. Then he went to 100. Then he went to 166. 100. You heard me right. $166,000 of stimulus checks. Then here's Lorraine. She was at $105,000 of stimulus checks, and now she's at $155,000 of stimulus checks across the board. This is for you. These stimulus checks are for you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. Why would you focus on $200 or $2,000 or $1,200 stimulus checks when you could be focusing on $20,000 stimulus checks or $40,000 stimulus checks? Moreover, let me make this even more apparent for you, more clear. The recession was first predicted by me in February of this year. I said it was going to be a 2-year recession, very, very hurtful and very, very abrupt, starting in January of 2022. I've been saying that all 2023. I've been saying that all this year long. Now we're 30 days away. 30 days away means that storm is out to sea, is about to come on land. That means you got to move really quickly. You need to become a member right today. So here's that tough love moment with a smile before I go in too deep. You need to pounce really quickly, folks, because come February, everyone in the Sister and Brother is going to be hurting, and they're going to be all here asking for massive stimulus. And this is going to be a stimulus stampede. You don't wait for them. You get ahead in the line. I've been teaching this for a while. There was an example in 2020 when there was a very, very popular grant that had already been used and exhausted. And then we heard word that it was reopening. Yeah, reopening. And it reopened on a Monday. As soon as I told viewers that money to apply, guess when they got approved? Monday night. Guess when they got paid? Tuesday. The people who applied on Tuesday did not get paid on Tuesday. They got paid on Thursday. The people who applied on Wednesday were told the money was gone. That's the importance of pouncing like a purple hawk. And in this big second half, we're going to continue these incredible checks one at a time. You go on this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Then get ready for the big second half, because we have only done the first 3 checks of $300,000 of stimulus checks in this recording. We are far from over. We have a lot more checks to continue in the big second half. Then we'll be cutting to the breaking news about student loan debt forgiveness. It's brand new, happened minutes ago from the Supreme Court. And gas prices on Sunday. What is happening on Sunday that will impact your gas prices? Boy, we have a brand new breaking news story. Plus, we'll be looking more about those jobs numbers. I'll be jumping more into the data, a little bit more detail in the big second half. It's a big show. It's a big afternoons. Plus, we'll have some countdown to holidays, LALATE, which, of course, is this broadcast as well. It's a huge show, and we're just getting started. The excitement is here, and the stimulus is here. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Holidays, LALATE continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues in the big second half. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, I hope you're having a beautiful day, and boy, is it gorgeous. In this big second half, there's a lot of details heating up, and we will go over them across the board. More about the details starting right now. With that job number release this morning, concerns growing that the Federal Reserve could be coming in more aggressively. All the latest details across the board. Plus, gas prices surging coming this Sunday and what about student loan debt forgiveness in February. Breaking details across the board. Plus, we'll be jumping back into those checks. Lots of them. 18 months of checks, $3,000 a month, and 5 checks per month. Breaking details you need to know. Heats up this big second half. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, big stimulus, and we're excited you're here. It's big holidays afternoon, it's a big LALATE afternoon, and we'll have more about these details starting right now. One of the most important things to know when applying for stimulus, of course, is the issue of the big money. And getting big money is always a question mark of that issue. And in today's recording, we'll be looking at that big money and how to get it and where to get it and how quickly to get it. It's all with those checks E through K. Remember, the first checks done by Joe Biden, the others ones done by Congress across the board. Those incredible checks heat up this big second half, and we'll have all that starting right now. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. The Federal Reserve is dealing with big problems. So today, one of the problems they're dealing with is the concern about the inflation in the labor market. And imagine what that means for you. It means they're going to come in more aggressively. Let's turn to that more stimulus, that issue, because you need to get it if the Federal Reserve continues to come in aggressively. It's a big second half, and I'm excited you're here. How are you on a big afternoons LA? Checks done by Congress followed those from the President of the United States, and they are the beautiful checks E through K. Check E is a $7,500 stimulus check. It is in the membership newsletter down at check E. Then F, a $4,000 stimulus check. Incredible. Go get it. Become a member right today. Then we go to check G, 30% off. Check H, a $2,000 stimulus check. I love it. Check I, a beautiful $8,000 stimulus check. And check J, $8,000 stimulus check, and then check K, a $14,000 stimulus check. Incredible. These are all in the membership newsletter right now. Why would you pass up a $14,000 stimulus check? And let's go to check L. L is a beautiful $100,000 stimulus check. M, $4,000 stimulus check as well. L is a loan interest-free mortgage of $100,000, and M is free money. Then N, wow. N is a brand new tablet, computer, a laptop. This is what Spelling got, and Lynn Glenn got it. Frank Mancuso, John Maloof, and Spelling got it as well. Then we have stimulus O, 0 down payment, 0 closing costs, and no insurance required for a brand new mortgage. And then stimulus P and Q. P is a 3% refi, and then Q is $8,000 of free grant money, closing costs across the board. There you go. Those are your beautiful federal stimulus checks. Santa stimulus, your Christmas stimulus. Let's go over the overview of these checks right now. First, they're from the federal government, so they administer it. They pay out the checks. It has nothing to do with your state. It doesn't matter where you live. They don't care where you live at all. Number two, the payouts are huge. 18 months of checks, about $3,000 a month, and about 5 checks per month. Number three, the biggest checks are $100,000. The smallest checks are $8,000. We got checks of all different walks of life for the computer, the tablet, the laptop, the internet, the home repairs, the home appliances, the car, and more. Next, these are incredible, and you qualify. Single individual, if you make $75,000 less, go get it right today. Married couple, if you make $150,000 less, go get it right today. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Rural Benefits, go get it right today. These are monster checks. You need monster checks because we're going to have a really monster recession starting less than 30 days away. And with that, let's go back into the latest details on the other type of checks that are heating up across the board. They are inflation relief stimulus checks, ISC. Like the icing on the cake, they're not a lot of money compared to the other stimulus I have on this channel. They're about $1,000. Where do you find them? They're down the membership newsletter. Check D like donut. Open it up, it lists the states, it lists the amount, and it also lists how to track it. I don't want you to focus on ISE checks because they're not a lot of money, but they're icing on the cake. That's why we give them an I, or inflation relief stimulus checks. Then we have a lifetime stimulus, because once your benefits go up, your benefits never go down. You're going to get 5 raises. Let's go over those raises. First, you got a raise already, 5.9% for the current year. Next year, you're getting an 8.7% raise. Then you're going to have, 4 raises. Then you're going to have a raise in 2020, the year after that, and a raise the year after that. Why? Because the Federal Reserve confirms there's going to be 2 more years of inflation. That means by year 4, which is 2024, you'll have the highest lift of your benefits of a generation. They're all cumulative raises, so they're on top of each other. They don't replace one or the other. And by that 2024 year, the cost of living will be the cheapest of a generation because they will have got inflation down across the board. And there you go. Let's go back into the breaking news that is happening right today that is so important. The other breaking news stories we're dealing with brand new today are gas prices on Sunday and student loan debt forgiveness. First, let's go into those gas prices. On Sunday, OPEC Plus will be meeting. And on Sunday, OPEC Plus will be meeting to determine whether to cut production of gasoline barrels pumping by substantial amounts or just by a nominal amount. Now, let me make this clear why this is important for you. We're currently having a concern with gasoline numbers coming from multiple different issues at the same time. I mean, they're all intersecting each other at the same time. First, starting next week, the embargo of Russian oil by the European countries starts. So they will not be buying Russian oil. So there's going to be less oil in that pipeline starting next week. Less oil, higher gas prices. Then, this Sunday, 23 countries which make up OPEC Plus, which are led by Saudi Arabia and also Russia, will meet and they determine how much gasoline oil to pump in the next month. They previously were asked to increase production. They did not. They cut by 2 million barrels a day. They're likely to cut by at least 500,000 barrels. But let me tell you, last time I told you the prediction, it was undervalued. It came in much higher. So predicting what these people are going to do is really hard. It's a hard guess. OPEC Plus has been rumored to consider a cut on basis of demand weakness, specifically in China over the past few days. Yet China's traffic nationwide is not down dramatically. What does that mean? It basically says people are still driving as much in China despite the issue with COVID right now. And so do not think that China has anything to impact the OPEC decision on Sunday. The other factor OPEC will need to consider is indeed the price cap. It's still up in the air, but it's a little bit of uncertainty. In October, they cut production by 2 million barrels a day. There are reports out of local news that they could be cutting 500,000 barrels per day coming this Sunday. And there's a significant chance of even a deeper cut come this Sunday, says RBC Capital Markets' Halima Croft. There's so much uncertainty. You have to factor in what's happening in China and Russian production. Folks, you can't predict these people. You cannot predict OPEC Plus. What does this mean? There's going to be a cut, number one. They're going to pump less gas, number two. Less gas means higher gas prices, number three. And this comes as gas prices are very low at the moment. They're very, very low. They're in the $80s a barrel, international Brent crude, when we saw them at 110 in March. So they're very, very low. But what's important to understand is that OPEC Plus has a mindset. According to reports, and I think these reports are correct, that OPEC Plus does not believe gasoline should be trading under $90 a barrel. It's currently 83. It was 84 yesterday. I think that is correct. I think that prediction is correct. OPEC Plus is not going to allow gasoline to stay under $90 a barrel. So they need it above $90 a barrel. Are they going to push it to $100? No, but they're going to push it up. And what's important to understand is that there's a high probability they do a massive, massive cut come this Sunday. That's why you have to watch this Sunday's broadcast on LA. I'll be on air with brand new shows this Sunday as we look and see how much gasoline is really cut by that OPEC Plus. Another breaking news story, brand new today, minutes ago, is that the Supreme Court has decided that it will take Joseph Biden's student loan debt forgiveness case for oral arguments in February. The way the Supreme Court works is they have to agree to take a case. They don't have to take your case, so they don't want to. They have agreed to take Joseph Biden's student loan debt forgiveness case in February. The lower court of appeals has issued an injunction to block the forgiveness of the debt. It has been in place for a while, and that injunction will remain in place until the oral arguments happen. They will be in February. So this is big news. If you want student loan debt forgiveness, the Supreme Court will take the case, and they will hear it in February. They may not decide in February. And the amount at issue is about $20,000 for millions of Americans. It's a total of $400 billion of student loan debt forgiveness. Wow. And with that, let's go into some deliciousness. It's the holiday season, and what is the best way to prepare for the holiday season for purposes of cooking? For the purposes of cooking, just do a lot of different things at the same time. Put it away and then freeze and then come back and make it easy on you. Here are some suggestions I have for you for preparing those holiday meals and staggering them out and then always having things around. Number one, do all your baking at the same time. And a lot of this stuff stays the whole holiday season. Case in point, holiday cookies, holiday pastries, holiday puff pastries, holiday tarts. These items you can make right now, freeze and put away, and they really do stay. So give yourself a little bit of time to do the dough right now. Give yourself a little bit of time to do the coverings, the sprinkles, and what will ultimately go on those items. Do them right now, and you can actually go through the entire process of really just creating the entire batter, freezing that batter, that cookie dough batter, and then just pulling it out the night before, shaping it and popping it around the oven. Do the work for it right now so it makes it easier on you. Number two, do a couple of things because a lot of these concoctions stem from the same base. So, for example, if you're doing cookie dough, do the cookie dough the same as you're doing the puff pastry, on the same day you're doing the puff pastry dough. Do the cookie dough the same day that you're doing, let's say, the bunned cake dough. Because ultimately, if you do several processes at the same time and then freeze it, just makes it very easy on you. There's no reason to just keep on bringing out the flour every 2 weeks and repeating the process. Put it away. Dough freezes really well, especially when created into a dough ready to chop into form. And then finally, just have your utensils ready on the fly this holiday season. There's always that in-law that shows up unannounced. You know who he is. that in-law that shows up unannounced. And you will not have to worry, I don't have anything ready for him. Maybe now you do. Just pull that cookie dough out of the freezer. You have that saran wrap. Have some extra saran wrap available. Have some extra Reynolds wrap available because you can, and Ziploc bags, also very helpful, because you may not need all the dough. You just need a little bit. It's just him. Just feed him and get rid of him. Just feed them and get rid of them, and leave the rest of the cookie dough for the whole rest of the invited family, as opposed to the uninvited guests. Uh, where else you going to learn about holidays for the uninvited? Except here on LA. You take out the cookie dough. It's this big. It's saran wrapped, and you just take your knife and you go, and that's his portion, and you put it out on the counter, and then you put the rest back in the freezer. And then for him, you get the particular cookie dough stamp that is appropriate for him. Downward smiling face stamp. Downward smiling face. That's his cookies. Why am I getting downward smiling cookies? Oh, you have them upside down, my friend. Oh, okay. No, they're really downward smiling. But for you, you can say what they are. And then you pop them in the oven and you're ready to go. And he's ready to go as soon as he has his downward smiling cookie. As soon as he has his downward smiling cookie, he's ready to go. And he can go right out the door and not come back until next holiday season. There's always a grifter, whether it's for stimulus or for downward smiling cookies. There's always a grifter. And the grifter knows the deliciousness of stimulus and really good cookies, whether it's upward, downward smiling cookie faces across the board. Another obvious way you offset this is on yesterday's holiday show. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I went over those holiday cookies you can buy, baklava, Italian cookies. Chef Roberto was in live chat, and Ann was in live chat, and Dragon, and we talked about them. It's really good to get those early in the season for the household as much as for gifts for other people, because you can always just go right to the pantry, pull out 2 baklava's, and supplement the items you made, and the uninvited guest is not going to ask where you got it from. He's just going to assume you made the baklava like you made the other cookies. And so long as he's eating while not asking questions, we're good. He will just assume you made the baklava because you made the other cookies as well. It's that easy. Make it easy on yourself, because that's ultimately what the holiday season is about. On Evenings LA tonight, we go back into the breaking news, and there is a lot of it. The markets are down currently right now based upon these jobs numbers. It's important to understand that these jobs numbers are better than expected. They are inflation. There is more inflation in those numbers. Let's understand the significance of these numbers and why good numbers are actually bad numbers today. Those job numbers showed we created more jobs in the month of November than initially thought, number one. That the unemployment rate did not get worse. In fact, it stayed exactly the same compared to the prior month. And it also shows that these numbers were much better than expected. The reaction to that is that ultimately the Federal Reserve will come in more aggressively or stay as aggressively because the Federal Reserve has a dual mandate. What's a dual mandate? Dual focus. They were established, the Federal Reserve, to have maximum employment, the most people employed as possible, the most people with jobs as possible. And number two, price stability, which is another way to say keeping inflation down. Now that they see that unemployment did not grow in the last 30 days, which is really a surprise, unemployment did not grow, the unemployment rate did not grow, despite seeing the jobless claims numbers going up, despite seeing some other unemployment numbers, unemployment did not grow. The Federal Reserve will stay course and continue to be as aggressively that they have been with those interest rate spikes to battle inflation. Moreover, the inflationary number in here shows that wage inflation is still happening. People are getting paid more every month than the prior month. And the Federal Reserve is not going to be like those stock analysts that are doing fake narratives. They're going to look at that personal consumption expenditure index featured yesterday on the channel that showed inflation went up 0.2% compared to the prior month and went up 5% year to date in the latest data. 2 days of data, 2 days of more inflation than the prior month. And that's why the Federal Reserve is going to come in more aggressively. Inflation has not come down, folks. And what the Federal Reserve has done is still not particularly worked yet. That's why you're going to have a long road with this, 2 years of a road with this. And ultimately, it all comes back down to your stimulus. You need to get massive amounts of checks, massive, tens of thousands of dollars. Don't spend one waking breath thinking about puny, tiny little checks, puny little tiny checks of $2,000 or $1,200, whatever you see or hear somewhere on the front porch next door, don't even have that conversation, because $2,000 is not going to survive anywhere in a 2-year recession. A 2-year recession, $2,000 ain't gonna cut it. You need $20,000. You need $50,000. And that's why you need these incredible stimulus checks. You go right in this video right today and get these massive amounts of checks. Again, 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 a month, just per month, and about 5 checks per month. You become a member. You become a member right today, and the breaking news continues tonight on the Evenings LA in prime time. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day, and stay with LA for more.